Okay, y'all, as y'all saw last week, we got this motor in and transmission. Let me get this out of the way here. Or in our way, but out of our way. Okay, we got the motor and transmission in. Basically now, we ain't got nowhere to shift that transmission. This was a manual truck, so it had this piece in it, which is for the clutch shaft. Basically, if you look here on this motor, all these motors have it. There's a bolt hole right there. You can't see it though. See if I can do this another way where it don't blind us here. Okay. Here's a bracket, right? Right in line with our bracket is that bolt hole. That bolt hole, you screw a, it's like a little ball that you screw in there and it locks in place, and then a shaft here goes on it and sits there, and a rod goes up here to the floorboard, and you push a rod and it pushes this down, and when it pushes that forward. When it pushes that forward, it pushes this one back and pushes your clutch in. So that's what that brace is for. All these small block motors have it, all the 6 cylinders have it, everybody's got it, it's right there. I did have to, on one of my trucks, see there's another one back here. So there's 2 spots for it. There's another, one of my other trucks I had to, it might be that one down there when I had a manual in it. I had to slid the motor forward. When I slid the motor forward, that made that thing fall in here. So I put a bolt here and a bolt here with a metal plate in between them, and then drilled a hole in there and put a nut on that ball that I'm talking about, and then it lined up and yada yada yada. Did it that way. So there's more than one way to do it. You just have to figure out how you want to do it. So anyway, the task at hand today is the transmission. There's no way to turn it. I don't have no way to turn that on and off, or it's in park, reverse, neutral, third, or drive. This case, overdrive, drive, second, first. So this has got to turn up. I told you the wrong way. It's got to turn forward. Okay, so that's the farthest back position. So I went to the junkyard and I ended up with this. This is the same thing I did with my truck. Here's that. That goes in the transmission. This comes over and's got to mount to the frame. Well, to mount that to the frame, you have to have this. So this has to be in line with that. So I've got to mock all this up and see where my holes need to be and drill my holes. Then put these 2 bolts in there. And then we'll be able to control this side of the lever from in the cab when I have it on the gear shift. You move the gear shift up and down, and that will change your gear selector from reverse to first, to drive to reverse, to whatever you want. So that's the first thing we got to do. We got to mock this all up, set it in there, get it, find where our holes go, drill our holes, put our bolts in, and then we'll be golden. So I'll be back when I find out where this goes. If I find out where this goes. I think it's gonna be easy. But it's been over 20 years since I did it on my truck and I don't remember. So I'll find out and let you know. Okay, y'all, I've mocked it up on top there. I'm gonna have to cut out around that little rivet, and then I'm gonna stick it up underneath it and put it in there. Now, you can turn that around and come up through the bottom and all that good stuff if you want to. It don't matter really. I took that long bar off so I wasn't fighting with it, and I took my bushings and all out. So it won't take but a minute here. I'm going to mark that, sharpen my pencil first. I'm going to mark that rivet out. I'm going to have to cut around it. I'm going to mark them 2 holes, drill those 2 holes. I'm going to put it all together. So I'll let you see something when I get a little more done here. Okay, y'all, what we did there, I set that up in the drill press, drilled a hole in it, Now I'm gonna come back with my grinder, clip this and clip this, and I should be good. I wanted this to be a rounded hole to fit around that lug basically. And that's pretty close the way it is, but I'm gonna clip those corners and that should make it just perfect. I gotta figure out a way to hold it here and clip that off. I'll take from about here up, just clip. And if I had a good pair of cutters, side cutters, that's some pretty thick stuff to cut with side cutters, but if I had a good set, I think I could cut it. So I'm gonna go ahead and lop it off with a grinder since it's laying right here, and I'll get back with you. Okay, y'all, there's the modifications that I had to do to it. Very minute. Basically, I was cutting a hole, cutting a groove for that rivet to go in. I drilled my 2 holes, slide those in, and it lines up right there. So we'll get our bolts in it, get it lined up here, get our bolts in it and get it ready, and we should be good to go. Okay, everybody, we're going through our archives here. I ain't been here in 20 years, maybe longer than that. But what I'm looking for is a spring. I need a spring and I need a little washer. Ronnie just bought one for his truck, and I'm looking everywhere for one. And I'm in the archives. There we go, y'all. We got it installed. Our 2 bolts are here. 2 bolts are there. So now, when you're up in the cab, this bar here hooks there. And this goes up to the gear shifter, like so. The gear shifter up here. So when you shift your gears up there, you're shifting the gears down here. So it's all a mechanical linkage. I picked that up out of the junkyard yesterday. I had to look long and hard, but I found what I needed. This setup, if y'all are looking for it, is in any Chevrolet. All Chevrolets had them that had, well, let me rephrase that. All Chevrolets from, say, 88, maybe 80. Yeah, they changed body styles in 89. So 88 back. If you had a gear shifter on the column, you had this. Now, obviously, if you had a manual transmission, you wouldn't have this. Automatic transmission from 80, about 88 back. Anything with the gear shifter on the column has that. 88 and above, you got a cable, and it's a big pain. It's hard to hook up. So anyway, I've got a column that is like this. Now I've got the shifter that's like this down here, so we should be able to make all this work. This here is adjustable. It slides up and down this shaft wherever you need it at. And if you happen to need it a little longer, you can just cut that shaft, make it a little longer and weld a piece of pipe in the middle of it, and you'll be good to go. So you can make it even longer if you have to. A van, I was looking at these yesterday, that plate there. If you get it out of a van, it's a lot longer. If this transmission was down more or up more, if I needed to move that around, what I would do is mount it off the bottom of the frame instead of the top of the frame. And then I could block it up or do whatever. I could weld whatever I needed to it to mount it in the bottom down there. So that's what I'll do if I have to, but this is set up about where I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna knock this piece out here. I've done found another way to do this emergency brake. So I'm gonna mount it right there where it's at. I gotta bring that up a little, but I'll block that out and mount it up. I'll show you that when I get done with it. But I've got to get this freed up where it'll move. This has been in the junkyard for 20 years, so this part won't actually move at the moment. So I've got to knock that up where it'll move and be freely. This here, this nut here, that's a jam nut. It goes down there and jams onto the side of it to keep it from moving. So, and then that boss there goes into there like so. And then that nut washer or bolt washer keeps it from falling off. But I got to get that moving, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute. Okay, y'all, just like I said, this moves up and down. You can move it anywhere you need on there, depending on where you have it or where you need it. And if you look through there, if you can see through it, because my finger's in the way. There you go. If you look through it, get down here at this light. You can look all the way through it. That's just a jam nut that comes down and locks down on that pole wherever you put it. So, okay, y'all, I cut that end off. Okay, I tapered it, put a taper on it like I did right there. So I made it smaller, and then I welded it together. Now I'm gonna go grind this down. What I'm doing, I'm chucking this in a drill like so, and then I'm running it across a grinding wheel. So it should taper it, or it should level it out. That's my thinking anyway, and I'll let you know. I'll show you here when I get to grinding on it. Okay, y'all, there's the final product. I added about 3 inches in there, you can tell. About that much. About 3 inches. So I didn't pull a tape or nothing on it. I found something that worked. So I got that in there. I didn't clean that one up because there's no way you'd ever slide that one all the way up to there. I'm gonna paint it. My paint's down there in the building with the truck. I'll paint it and get it ready. And I did knock that pin out of there. That pin's been fighting me. I got it out. I used the nail actually. That right there to get it out. I thought I could use that, but that was too big. So anyway, I knocked it out. So anyway, if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel. If you hadn't already, give us a thumbs up for filming it, and we'll catch you on the next one. Okay, y'all. There's the automatic transmission shaft stuck in there. Or not shaft, but shifter rod. It goes down like so. So it's hooked up. Trick is, does it work? I think it might. See if I can set y'all up somewhere here. What can y'all see? Anything? Y'all can't see nothing, can you? There you go. You're looking at this shaft down there. Let me try the gear shifter. Should be first, second, third, neutral, reverse, park. So I think it's getting them all. Okay. You guys should have seen that. It feels like it's going through all of them. So that's done. I guess you guys lost your light there, but you should have been able to see that. That part of it's done. Bloop. Stamp it. Done. We had to add that piece to it. I didn't even look. I've got about an inch and a half hanging out of the back side of it. So we've got plenty. Y'all, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one.